listen, if Islam may retire,
I can feel him.
He may retire. He's done a lot. He's competed in 2 different weight classes and won world championships in 2 different weight classes. If he beats Ian, if he submits Ian and says, I've had enough, I'm going to do what Khabib did and I'm going to coach now, I could see that. And then I could see Morales protest with a fucking undisputed title.
Yeah.
But everybody shut up. I mean, Ian had it right. Ian played that right, and I'm just sharing for you. Now what? He's a bad guy because he said something nice about women? Gal, I'd like to be there with you. I can't. We hate Ian because Ian stood by his wife. I'd like to be there with you, but I just can't. And Ian's ability to draw, even if it's with booze, his ability to draw.
Who wins?
Bro, I think of course Makhachev gonna win.
You think Makhachev wins?
I think, but I truly believe Ian Garry have really good skills to beat him. You know, I think Makhachev gonna win because Ian Garry is the underdog. So he's Makhachev is a double champ. You know, a really good fighter. But I really believe Ian have a really good skills to beat Makhachev.
Yeah. Who would you prefer to fight at the end of this thing, right? Because I know a lot of people say, if you're next, right? A lot of people will say stuff like, I want to beat the guy, right? So if Islam's the guy, if he's a double champion, he's been in both weight classes champion, I'd rather him be the person that I beat for the belt. But on the other hand, you have Ian Garry, a guy who owns a victory over you that I'm sure you would like to get it back. So if you had your choice as to who would be holding the title when you get your opportunity, who would that be?
Bro, that lose to Ian is still hurting me a little bit, you know? It's still a little bit painful, you know?
Why? Do you think you froze up a little bit in that fight? Do you think you froze up a little bit in that fight?
Bro, I hate lose. I'm really bad loser, you know? I stopped to play soccer and collective sports because when you lose, I fight. Usually I fight somebody or something like that because I hate lose. So that lose for me is still a little bit painful. So I think me and Ian, we still have some business to do.
So you'd prefer Garry be the guy that's holding that belt?
Yeah.
So
they both would be good, you know. For the legacy, Makhachev is great, you know. He former double champ, he just one loss, a lot of winning streak. But for me, by person, I prefer Ian.
Do you know what? I think this is going to be Islam's toughest fight that we've seen recently. I think that stylistically, Ian Garry is a pretty bad matchup for him, to be honest. He's long, rangy, moves really well. You don't often see him getting taken down and held there. Super tall, super elusive, elite striking, judges the distance really well. He's young, he's fresh, he's not had loads of damage or anything like that. He's not got a lot of miles on the clock. But then we're talking about Islam Makhachev, mate. In my opinion, pound for pound number one, or in the argument at the minute for that. Once he gets hold of you, you're done. He's got that left head kick. People are saying, there's reports across the board, he's the strongest person that people have ever fought. Apparently he's so physically strong, which is something that you can't see on TV.
What, just from a wrestling perspective?
Yeah, I think that's something that you can't really see. I mean, when you watch an opponent, right, you can always see the speed that they move, the techniques that they're using, the game plans and all that kind of stuff. What you can't see is how strong somebody is physically. I've seen multiple guys, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje and people like that saying that, wait, has he even fought Justin Gaethje? Don't think he has he? He mustn't. No, must have been somebody else. Must have been somebody else. But seeing multiple guys say how strong he is physically. And once he gets older guys, they don't seem to be able to escape. Ian Garry, though, very tough guy to get hold of. Moves his feet really well. Does everything good. And I think people overlook him. But mate, the guy can fight. The guy can definitely fight.
I see it as a real test for Islam. Obviously, he beat JDM and became the champion, and JDM was the champion and had a really good run leading up to that fight. But I feel like, all right, this is a real welterweight challenge in the way that Ian Garry is a true welterweight, and he's going to pose those issues that we have questions about. Do you think he's the hardest fight for Islam Makhachev in the division right now?
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah.
Do you reckon it's between him and Morales? Probably. I mean, Shavkat
Morales is a beast,
back.
but he's not as his defense is not as refined as Ian's. I mean, again, I'm going to say Ian's footwork is very good. His distance management is very good. He's got a very good series of lancing attacks. His takedown defense is excellent. Shavkat didn't get him down until like the 4th or the 5th, and even then, yes, he did get him down. And so I think this will be kind of interesting to see what kind of takedowns he uses. If you guys recall,
Islam Makhachev is 5'11", so huge height discrepancy right there. But we're gonna break down Islam Makhachev to see how he gets it done. If you guys are trying to make sure you like, subscribe, also hit the bell to go live. Now this fight, Islam Makhachev, he came out.
Islam Makhachev has the grappling advantage in this fight against Ian Garry.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tick my check mark in that box as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bilal Muhammad is not near what Islam Makhachev is on the cage or on the ground, and he was able to have success at trapping Ian up against the cage. And everybody knows that fights start on the feet, but the cage is also a very useful tool to get somebody dragged down to the ground, and Islam's team does it better than anybody else. They kind of wrote the blueprint for how to use the cage as an apparatus within the arena and have success. All of the chaining, we call it chain wrestling, but now it's like chain cage work, right? The wizards to the underhooks to the body locks to dropping down, changing levels, getting to the legs, and finding your way to pull somebody down off the cage. Islam's better than anybody at that. And we saw Bilal Muhammad have some success against Ian Garry. Multiple times he was able to trap Ian, and I don't even think Bilal's striking is near as good as Islam. So Islam pushing that pressure will get Ian Garry backed up against the cage. Probably not in the first round or two, because like we said, Ian's so good at lateral movement and staying long and staying away from the danger. But eventually he's going to wind up with his back against the cage, and he's going to have to deal with Islam's body locks and Islam closing distance.
Wow, that's tough. That is a tough one. Honestly, like, I feel like it's going to kind of be like, he's never really fought a guy that tall and that, like, weird. Like, ooh, that's tough. You know, like, I have a feeling Islam's going to win, but it'll be, like, in the later rounds, like, kind of like what he did with Dustin. After he gets in close, I think he secures the takedown. I know Ian's grappling is top tier, but I just don't think he can handle Islam, because everyone said the same thing when Islam went against Charles, and Islam just put him away, made his ground look like nothing. So I'm like, I can never doubt Islam ever again, you know. So I'm gonna take Islam for this one.
Islam. Yeah, I mean, I think that on the feet, stylistically, is definitely the weirdest matchup that he had. It's just not the most dangerous matchup, and I think if you're gonna beat Islam, you're going to have to take him out.
The final countdown has begun for Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry, with their welterweight title fight drawing closer by the hour. Islam Makhachev remains the clear favorite, but many experts believe Ian Machado Garry has the skills to make this a far tougher challenge. Fighters and MMA analysts have already explained why this bout could exceed expectations. Now, with fight night imminent, all eyes...
The countdown is heating up as Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry inch closer to their massive welterweight title showdown. Makhachev remains the obvious favorite, but many experts believe Garry possesses the weapons to turn this into a much nastier challenge. Fighters and MMA analysts have already broken down why this matchup could deliver far more drama than expected. With fight night rapidly approaching, everyone is watching to see whether Garry can shock the champion or if Makhachev will once again remind everyone why he stands above.
Personally, it's very, very difficult right now to pick against Islam Makhachev. This is not some grand revelation. He's the pound for pound number one guy in the sport. So like, this is, I'm not like blowing your audience's mind at this present moment. But I think what I would say is this is exactly the kind of fight that, like, how do I say this? when I see elite guys get tripped up, it's often in scenarios like this, where they're fighting a number one contender, but the fan base might not really respect the B side, or they might begrudgingly respect that he deserves the title shot, but he doesn't have much of a shot, and they're nonplussed about his offense, and he doesn't have the same level of a distinguished career as the champion by any stretch of the imagination.
Luke Thomas backed Islam Makhachev, pointing to his status as the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the sport, making him extremely difficult to bet against. However, Thomas warned that Ian Machado Garry should never be underestimated. He explained that elite champions can face serious problems when confronted by a hungry #1 contender who earned his title shot and desperately wants to prove himself. According to Thomas, Garry fits that description perfectly, bringing confidence, motivation, and a style that could potentially cause Makhachev major problems. While Thomas still predicted Makhachev to win, he had...
You know what? I think this is going to be Islam's toughest fight that we've seen recently. I think that stylistically, Ian Garry is a pretty bad matchup for him, to be honest. He's long, rangy, moves really well. You don't often see him getting taken down and held there. Super tall, super, elusive, elite striking, judges the distance really well. He's young, he's fresh, he's not had, loads of damage or anything like that. He's not got a lot of miles on the clock. But then we're talking about Islam Makhachev, mate. In my opinion, pound for pound #1, or in the argument at the minute for that. Once he gets hold of you, you're done. He's got that left head kick. People are saying, there's reports across the board, he's the strongest person that people have ever fought. Apparently he's so physically strong, which is something that you can't see on TV.
What, just from a wrestling perspective?
Yeah, I think that's something that you can't really see. I mean, when you watch an opponent, right, you can always see the speed that they move, the techniques that they use, and the game plans and all that kind of stuff. What you can't see is how strong somebody is physically. I've seen multiple guys, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and people like that saying that, wait, has he even fought Justin Gaethje? Don't think he has he? He mustn't. No, must have been somebody else. Must have been somebody else. But seeing multiple guys say how strong he is physically, and once he gets older, guys, they don't seem to be able to escape. Ian Garry, though, very tough guy to get hold of. Moves his feet really well. Does everything good, and I think people overlook him. But mate, the guy can fight. The guy can definitely fight.
The GOAT. So I don't include Jones and Anderson Silva. I don't think if you have any type of drug testing issues, you don't get to be in the GOAT conversation. It, for me, boils down to Khabib and George St. Pierre. But I think Khabib because undefeated. In fighting, it's so easy to lose, especially in Russia. Because when you're 5-0, 6-0, you're fighting absolute killers. You're fighting killers early. It's easy to make a mistake and lose. Hey, think about this. John Jones, for as good as he is, he has one loss. Why? He made a mistake. Khabib never made a mistake. He went through this whole thing.
And Khabib domination.
Dominate.
John made close fights.
But he never made any mistake. Never got himself disqualified, never got caught in a submission, he made no mistakes. 29 times to walk to that octagon against the best guys in the world and win 29 times. I don't even really know why more people don't share this opinion. Because George St. Pierre, George St. Pierre has 2 or 3 losses.
3 or 4.
Yeah. Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest. He has losses. This guy never lost.
Cejudo lost.
Cejudo, lose. Everybody lost. He never lost. That's
Islam won.
Even Islam, as good as he is, made one mistake, right? And he's as close to Khabib as anyone. To never lose, dude, it's crazy. Especially in the beginning of his UFC career when he didn't have great striking. He was really relying on his wrestling, and he never lost. I think it's crazy.
Islam Makhachev looking to extend his record to 17 wins. If he does that, he'll have the longest winning streak in the history of the UFC. Right now, he's tied with Anderson Silva at 16. So Islam Makhachev looking to break some records this week.
And what's making it more, I mean, Anderson was crazy, his record, but what makes it more impressive is he's clearing out weight classes, you know? He's beat the best 45er, cleaned out 155, went up, took the belt from the 170. That's what pound for pound really is. you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Anderson Silva did go up in
he
weight.
did go up
but
in
he
weight,
wasn't
but he
fighting
didn't
for
fight
the
for-
belt.
Yeah.
He did fight Cormier, and that was after I had fought him and stuff, and he was a very, very close fight, competitive.
But when he went up in weight, he went up and he kind of fought. I mean, he didn't fight the best of the best.
But when Anderson also
fight John Jones, I remember him saying.
But the majority of his wins and this record that he has was title defenses too.
Anderson, yeah.
Which is that's a different level. I think it's really hard to defend your belt that many times.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go
every
back
time
and
you're
you
fighting the absolute best.
the best guy, and they already know what you do, and they've been working on everything to capitalize.
I get that, but we also got to look at
the quality,
depth of division, right? So, like, the depth of the guys he was fighting in the division does not compare to the depth of the guys.
But only in hindsight. I feel like
And
only
yeah,
in hindsight.
in
So
hindsight,
it's
it's
hard.
easier,
Like
yeah,
Rich
for
Franklin was the man at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
So,
talking about it, Rich
Chris
Franklin.
Lieben was fucking a scary motherfucker.
If it wasn't for Anderson Silva, Rich Franklin would have had that belt for a while.
Yeah, he was a beast. Like,
talking about it.
so that's why it's hard to go back and think of, like, if you look at any division back then, there's very few divisions that still get love from fans now, because of course now it's deeper and there's great fighters and people more well-rounded. But if you look at Anderson Silva, what he was doing when he did it, I think that's still Prime Vitor.
I mean, yes, you're right. I mean,
he went up in weight once
he did
or
go up
twice.
in weight.
He
Yeah,
beat
he did go up in
Forrest.
weight.
Yeah.
He beat
the
Forrest and he beat
relaxation,
Bonner.
how relaxed you could be on the feet, bro. Still today, I don't know if there's anybody like it.
Chael Sonnen twice when Chael was out of his mind.
Who's just gonna juicing up,
more juice than a fucking
takedown
juicery.
clinics.
Bro,
you know,
come on.
I mean, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Anderson. I mean, he beat Dan Henderson. Like, his resume speaks for itself.
And Dan was the man.
Choked him out.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, but I think that, but our esteem towards him, I think, allows us to not really give Makhachev the credit that he deserves.
No, he deserves credit, but I don't think we should.
Credit.
I don't think it always has to be a comparison of the two. Like, just because they got similar records and winning streaks, I don't think it needs to be like this comparison where, like, who's who's.
I know,
who's
and we,
better.
but we
like Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah, we unfairly do that. But what I'm saying is, like, if we say, okay, let's do the Mount Rushmore, everybody's going to have Anderson on it, but no one's going to have Islam on it.
Yeah, I think people have.
The newer fans for sure. I also do think we used to the way we used to decide on who, like, the greatest of all time is, and that Mount Rushmore was like the amount of championship wins that they had, streaks. Like, so Demetrius Johnson's up there, Anderson Silva's up there. Now, like, a streak like Islam is super impressive, but he's got 3 defenses at welterweight, I think, and then he's got one. He's about to defend it for the first time at welterweight.
Yeah.
So he's doing something different. He's becoming a double champion.
And one of his defenses was against a 45er.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you could beat up everybody's. You know, you could go up and down. You could pick apart everybody's thing. You know.
How was it when you finally became double champ? Because I know Habib couldn't do it. Nobody else in your camp has ever done that. Once you secured that, how did that feel?
Feel great. Something's new, you know, for our team also, for our country also, you know, become to double champ for my life. It's my dream. And I always, when I fought in lightweight, I'm like big for the lightweight, you know, and always I had not some problem, but always have to follow the diet like 2 months. And, you know, now when become welterweight, life is differently changed, you know. I enjoy everyday training. Still now, like 1 week before the fight, I eat and I come with all team to the sauna. I go with like team to the restaurant.
Luke Thomas breaks down what separates Islam Makhachev and the Dagestani fighters from everyone else, the relentless intensity they bring to training and competition. Thomas explains that although wrestling has become a fundamental foundation for mixed martial arts, it isn't the only reason wrestlers have found success in the sport. Instead, their ability to fight through positions with constant intensity is what makes them so dangerous. The Dagestani style has embraced that mentality while blending it with complete MMA skills. Thomas believes Garry has one advantage: his leg speed. Although Makhachev is a more disciplined and polished striker than Bilal Muhammad, whom Garry